GPT, Google Gemini. I mean, I didn't use that to write this script, guys, I promise you. I promise you, Alex and I wrote this script throughout the night, but they're all over here.
And who else? The most valuable company in the world, Ayush, over $5 trillion of market capitalization, NVIDIA, is going to be here.
And this is only the trailer picture, Abhi Baki hai. We've got a star cast lined up for you. This is going to be a stellar show. But before we move on, we should thank our partners and sponsors, Alex.
Absolutely. Today is possible because of our knowledge partner, Dayananda Sagar University, co-powered by a DP World state partner, Government of Uttar Pradesh, as well as handset partner Motorola, insurance partner Axis Max Life Insurance, associate partners Rocket, Union Bank of India, and Tata Power, Solar Roof, and Zoho. Impact partners are Adani Solar and Adani Ports and Logistics. Special partner is Lokpriya Gopinath Bardoloi International Airport, Guwahati, and real estate partner is Eldeco.
May we also invite on stage Dr. D. Premchandra Sagar, Pro-Chancellor, Dayanand Sagar University. A huge round of applause, please, for this next address.
Good afternoon. We are standing at peculiar crossroads in the history of computation. For decades, the narrative of technology in the global south has been one of consumption. We were the users, the testers, and the implementers. But today, the era of passive adoption is over. At Dayanand Sagar University, we believe that education must not merely inform, but transform. We aren't just teaching our students how to use AI, we are giving them the keys to the factory. So we're building the core, India's first academic AI factory, and I'm thrilled to announce that DSU, in collaboration with NVIDIA, is building India's first academic AI factory. This isn't just a symbolic lab or a collection of workstations. This is a production-grade, research-driven engine anchored by 20 NVIDIA B200 Blackwell nodes, which gives us a compute power of 160 GPUs. For the tech savvy in this room, you know what Blackwell represents. With the B200, we are looking at 20 petaflops of FP4 performance per GPU. A massive leap in throughput for training the large-scale models that will define the next decade. With this, I'm proud to state that India would now stand at the forefront in terms of the GPU power, of the raw compute power that would be there in academic institutions. By June 2026, this cluster will serve as the central brain of our ecosystem, enabling our students to move beyond simple prompts to training their own large language models and building DSU GPT. But compute, however powerful, is just raw potential. To turn that potential into impact, we are building a full innovation stack around this core, the AI maker space. Now, when this is going to be integrated with the electronic and mechanical labs to bridge the gap between algorithms and physical machines. We are building the first large-scale cyber range in the academic sector in partnership with Civix and Cyberbit, creating real-world simulation environments for advanced defense. The raw compute power that we are building would also enable us to build a strong AR/VR system wherein we are incorporating the Digital Twin Center, collaborating with Dassault Systems to pioneer virtual twins in urban planning and healthcare. The advanced robotic labs, which is again going to be built on this platform of CUDA, will be where we will have mechanical intelligence meet artificial intelligence to develop humanoids and autonomous systems. Our mission is simple: democratization. We have nearly 40,000 students in our university system, from law, medicine, management to health sciences and design. We believe a law student and a medical student should understand AI ethics as deeply as a computer scientist understands neural networks. By providing university-level access to high-performance compute, we are ensuring that innovation is not concentrated in a few global hubs. We are skilling over 20,000 students in emerging roles like ML Ops, AI product architecture, and generative AI development. We are building for the global South. We are directing this immense power towards the challenges of the global South, from healthcare diagnostics in our medical college to climate resilient infrastructure through our net zero collaboration with Siemens. We are building solutions that matter. Now, India is no longer just a participant in the AI revolution. We are a creator and a builder. To our partners and the tech community, we invite you to co-innovate with us. To our students, this AI factory is yours. We want you to use it to solve locally, but think globally. Together, we aren't just building infrastructure, we are building impact. So largely what I wish to state across is, tier 2 institutions are now thinking larger. It's not just the IITs. The largest compute power, raw compute power, would be made available in just a few months from today. By June 2026, we would be unveiling the AI factory. This would help us to innovate. By integrating that in a university system, we are now building the tools. So what are we trying to create? We are trying to create this hunger, this aspirational requirements that a young 18-year-old can think across. And we believe that the power of future India is in that 18-year-old kid. And that is what we are trying to build in an ecosystem. And we have a very large ecosystem that would go across. And we believe the democratization of AI in what we call as tier 2 institutions, because we are not an IIT, we are not an NIT, or we are an Indian Institute of Science. But we believe that we can achieve that, just like how MIT at Boston, when Rogers Barton started that as a polytechnic and went on to be the gold standard. So the hunger is there among those young people who believe that they do not have the talent to be picked up at Caltech or to be picked up at MIT, but who have the appetite to solve a problem for India and to show across that what young people, what tier 2 universities can create in a system, and how can we move forward to essentially power those young minds. Thank you very much.
We're going to move to a session which is not only about vibe coding. The company calls it vibe solutioning. This is the pro max of vibe coding.
Yeah.
And my lovely co-host Alex is going to be moderating this one, a fireside chat with Deepak Dhana, co-founder and CEO at Rocket. Can we please have you on stage? A huge round of applause, please. And for my co-host, Alexander Matthew.
Thank you so much for taking the time. Come. So let's talk about this. And there are a lot of people in this room who will know exactly what you mean when you say vibe coding. But there are a lot more people tuning in from home and on their mobile phones that are wondering what we're talking about. What are the vibes here? Can you explain that?
Vibe coding is, a way of creating the same thing, which is you build the software, your website, your presence, in a natural language without requiring any technical expertise, because the models and the prompts behind the platform takes care of translating your intention into the technical specifications and carries it over.
So you're essentially saying, everybody who's watched Iron Man, yeah? So essentially you're saying you have a conversation with this with this program.
Yes.
And you ask it to do what is on your mind. You communicate it in simple language, not in Python, not in something else.
Absolutely. You can go on to rocket.new right now and type something, what do you want to build next? In fact, outside, I was talking to one of your colleagues and she said, what we can build? I said, let's build the landing page of this event. And in 3 minutes, I just...
3 minutes?
In 3 minutes, we built the landing page working.
Wow. Okay. So that's fantastic. Now, the thing is, I've always had this amazing appreciation for IT professionals. They speak in languages that I can't hope to possibly understand. What this does essentially is democratize that somewhat.
Absolutely. And I'm the living proof. I'm not a I'm not a techie. I'm not a developer. I am by qualification chartered accountant. For most part of my life, I've been, tech enthusiast, but on the finance side. And now I am building the...
Deepak, they're saying that chartered accountants could well be replaced soon.
I mean, this is a question everybody's asking everybody, correct, these days. What I feel is, I don't think AI or any tool will replace an individual. I think a person who understands and knows and uses these tools will replace the one that is not using it. Okay. Yes. And when we look at, our job is made of two things. One is tasks that you should not be doing. And the other is the core value that you add in any job: decision-making, creativity, governance, and accountability, correct? Vision, good biases and bad biases, correct? Those things are the core of us. And today, in the era of processes and speed, we have been consumed by non-value-add work. So those guys will have to think about it. But others, it will open the doors because now I have more time to do things that I excel at.
So a lot of the conversation in the recent past in the IT industry here in India and the way that it is done has been about moving away from the man-hours model. This is essentially what you're talking about.
Outcome model.
Outcome model. How does that work?
So, I mean, take an example like with Rocket, okay? Earlier in my consulting days or, chartered accountancy days, it was a trust-based, the client acquisition or marketing where I used to, go and pitch because I'm chartered accountant, because I have done for XYZ and ABC. People used to believe and people would give me work. Now I need to show him what the output will look like. So with Rocket, for example, you're going in a client meeting. On the way, you can create a demo, you can create a presentation, you can create a solution. You can actually show it live in the meeting, iterate with it, that this is how it will look like in the real world. And there are better chances of you winning and also the client getting the upfront solution in front of them to see and make a decision. Otherwise, in bureaucracy, we have seen it takes, 20 hours even to fix meeting with the consultants to arrive at a project. In 20 hours, you would have probably with Rocket built everything.
Okay, so the question to you, therefore, is that you are removing several steps in this process, right?
Yep.
And that is ultimately what technology does.
It removes the technological barriers. It removes the administrative tasks. It removes the, the translation errors in the entire process.
So the question for you, you're relatively young as a company, but you've probably had a lot of colleagues in the past or people that you know that would arguably be made redundant by this, right? So what do they do and what do entry-level folks do? Because they can't ultimately jump that barrier to where people who work for 10 years, 15 years and got certain body of work behind them, certain experience, how do they bridge that gap in your opinion?
I think the people who are entering afresh, they need to be receptive to using these tools, and they are by and large. The new generation uses it and gets equipped by that. The older population who comes with or the experienced population who comes with the body of work, I think they need to focus their time on the governance of the output that comes, or they be responsible for the output that is generated. Make a decision about the output that is generated. That is the tremendous amount of value. The experience is something that no tool can, replace. Correct? The experience gives you the capability to understand what is built is right. What is built is appropriate for my business, for my audience, for my client, for my use case. Correct? So those professionals who adopt this and use it as a tool to, deliver high quality judgments, high quality governance, they will be better off with it. The new ones who are coming in, take this as a tool or a bike that you ride at a high speed.
It's all about productivity. Last point with regard to talent and availability of it and how you are looking at potential hires. When you look at people that you want to work with, right? And we're talking about, and what we've just spoken about the last 10 minutes is about leveling that playing field. Essentially,
Absolutely.
You could have somebody who's just walked in who could be as efficient or more productive than somebody who spent 20 years in the industry. So what do you look at when you're speaking to people today?
So I think this is a great question. And, at an entry level or at a mid level, we look for people who have the creative streaks, correct? We look for people who are AI native in their functioning, correct? Not just like, they use ChatGPT, once in a week type of stuff, or, the Claude Code for once in a week type of stuff. Those who use, AI extensively in their work, okay? Those are the AI native people with creative streak and with some bit of agency. At the senior level, we look for people who adopt these tools, let go of their baggage, but keep the learning.
Interesting.
Because
please make the point.
That combination brings the relevant and contextual decision making that helps us push forward.
Interesting. I want to double click on that, right? And when you're talking about somebody, suppose I come to you as an entry level individual and I want to do an interview with you, I want to work with you, right? You were talking about judging whether I use artificial intelligence, not just the odd chat. So how are you going to judge that when you speak to me?
Most likely we'll work on a project first.
Sure.
There will be an assignment or a project, correct? And we will crack a problem, and openly you can use, any AI model and all, but we define the outcome, correct? That this is the, this is the objective where I want to reach. Now let's solve this. This is how I evaluate you, how you solve the problem, how quickly you solve the problem, how creative you solve the problem. What are the tools that you are using, correct? What are the viewpoints that you are bringing in? Are you just, putting in prompt in ChatGPT or, Anthropic or anywhere else and just, being a cheap wrapper, what I call, many tools are, which many tools are, correct? So we try to see, do you have the deep understanding of what we do or the problem that we are trying to solve? Or you are just, taking instructions from me, passing on to ChatGPT and throwing it back to me?
Sure.
No go, boss.
Last point, and this is something as a message that you want to send to everybody listening at home. We're just scratching the surface. How excited are you? And what can you describe to explain to people how excited you are at this moment?
I'm super excited. There has never been a better time in the world to create, because now technology barriers are gone. People can actually, bring their dream into reality at an individual level. At business level, people who are facing problems selling internally can actually show the demonstration rather than trying to make a theoretical point. From the business and the government and the citizen and the whole population perspective, in my view, as I said, the whole world needs to be rebuilt, because the old world was built for workflows, for SaaS world, for the traditional software. We are becoming AI native. We are increasingly integrating AI into our life, and that is why the whole world needs to be rebuilt or tweaked, whether you call it a software or you call it a hardware. And the software will become a supportive software. In the coming days, will have a supportive role to the hardware. So we are rebuilding the entire world. There has never been a better chance for anybody to relive their life, to rebuild what they couldn't do earlier, or to achieve the dreams they did not, could not pursue because of technological barrier earlier.
So whether you want to call it a threat or an opportunity is up to you, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause for Deepak. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Pleasure.